Welcome back to Finnegan's Garage. Thank you all for watching and subscribing. More importantly, thank you for going to fsmgarage.com to get cool shirts like this one. Because every time you spend dollars there, we use your money to make really horrific decisions involving our project cars.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Yeah. The other thing that your support has given us is an inside connection to companies like Miller Welders and Andy here, which allows us to play with welders before most other people get to play with them, and also gives us the opportunity to learn from motorsports managers like this guy about stuff we didn't know existed, like that product right there. That is going to keep my wife happy. Yeah, for real. No more smoke going upstairs every time we're messing around down here. This is going to take all that smoke, suck it right in there, and we're going to need that today because today we're building a special project involving this welder. And by the end of the day, less smoke and better working environment for everybody.
And a happy wife.
A happy wife, that's the key.
Your lungs will be happier.
Yeah, all the happy, all the safety.
The main thing, you know.
Right now. The Miller Multimatic 220 AC/DC is the workhorse in our shop here. We use it for everything. In fact, this welder sits in the middle of the garage because we can use it to TIG weld. Most of the time we're tacking stuff together, you know, hot side, cold side plumbing where we're building turbo kits. We can MIG weld. We use it to build rear ends all the time, you know, mounting brackets to it, that sort of thing. It sits right up front because it gets used every day. And Andy came up with a great solution to make the cart a little more functional. Presently, we're like everyone else. The top of our welder is scratched and whatnot because everything just gets thrown on top of it. Well, we're gonna solve that problem right now. And Andy has an interesting background because you work for Miller, but pretty much every day you're like us. You're in your garage, playing with cars and giving the world the information they need to become better welders when you're like me, where you never went to school for it. You can watch Andy's videos and pick up a lot of really good information. How did that happen?
Well, by accident. So I built and raced cars pretty much my whole life. But I grew up welding in my father's welding business. And then darned if I just didn't get a job at Miller, you know. But I was pretty much the only person that spoke race. So I eventually took over the motorsports program and worked with their fabricators, obviously working with the welding equipment and kind of got them keyed in. But it gives me an opportunity to also work on our own projects on Real Garage with Andy. But I also do a lot of the videos on the Miller Welds channel as well. But what I enjoy doing is just like what you get to do. You get to play with cars, but I also get to babysit a lot of race teams.
Yeah, like your every day is going into race shops and making sure those guys and their equipment is actually functioning. And I gotta be honest, he got here yesterday and within 10 minutes of him being in here, I was already welding better with my Dynasty machine because I didn't have it set right. And you literally solved a problem I had in 10 minutes by just teaching me how to set the machine up better than I had. And so not only am I gonna learn a lot today, like I said, we're gonna make that cart a lot more functional. And this will be a project you guys can do at home. A lot of you have Multimatic machines because it's a great machine for doing a lot of different kinds of jobs when working your hot rod. And I think a lot of you can use what we're about to show you right now.
Yeah, and basically you got the same problem I do. You know, you are in a confined area and I got the same problem. So a lot of my projects are shop optimization projects, you know, trying to optimize my space. And I do the same thing. I would roll the machine out. I'd have air grinders and stuff stacked on the machine. So I really just wanted to not make the machine look like crap after a while. And so we're just going to make a tray that slips on top of the machine and helps protect it and yet get some of our necessary tools closer to the work area.
What's step one?
Step one, well, we're going to kind of skip around a little bit and shorten it up. I already have the dimensions kind of laid out for how long I made this, but if your machine isn't exactly this size, I just made my tray about 1 inch or 2 longer and about 1 inch or 2 wider than the actual top of the machine. So we can start with there. And basically I used 18 or 20 gauge steel as a good thickness for this project because it's easy to work with and easy to bend. We're pretty much just going to be spot welding it, so not any critical welding on this project.
And does this attach to the machine or to the cart?
Good question. It actually attaches to the machine. I've seen a lot of people make trays and stuff, but they physically attach to the cart. The way I designed this one is it literally slips in between the handles. There's going to be some brackets welded to the bottom. It slips between the handles and also locks under the center handle. So you can literally drag it around by the tray. It won't come off, but it still slips off easily if you need to access the machine.
All right, nice. And if you're at home and you have a 220 AC/DC, bear in mind, we got ours so long ago that this cart is actually a prototype. So your cart might look just a little bit different than ours. But like Andy said, he's building this where it's fairly universal. And so no matter what you've got, you should be able to make one of these that'll work for you.
Yep.
All right, well, let's get to work.
We're just going to measure the top piece, which is going to be 17.25 by 27 inches for this project. We're going to then also make some marks, so we're going to cut some corners so we can make our bends. On the long side, it's actually going to be a double bend. It's going to be a little longer, and it's actually going to have a lip on the side, which we're going to cut some slots in it to hang some air tools. I always have air tools wherever I'm working.
So my concern with that is, are you not worried about air tools hanging upside down of like dust and like metal shavings and stuff getting inside the tool?
Well, I'm not usually grinding and working right on top of the machine, and I've stored them that way for, well, I hate to say how old I am, but I store them that way all the time. But I haven't had a problem with them, and I can guarantee I don't buy expensive ones, and they still work. So. But no, it'll be great. Again, it just keeps those tools organized because I use them all the time, no matter where I'm at. And then the rest of the tray will be open for whatever I'm working on. If it's the roll locks for the angle grinders, copper backing strips, whatever, that can kind of go in the tray. So.
Andy's smart enough to hang the air tools off the side of the welder, not at the end of the bench where we cut and grind everything.
Yeah, so they last longer that way too, right?
Yeah, we had them all hanging just the way you described, but it was at the end of the bench where we were doing all the grinding and cutting. And this will be better.
Perfect.
And so will this work on a 215 like I have at my house?
For the most part, yeah. Really, the 215 has the same handle configuration. It's just a tad bit shorter.
Okay.
Yep. Cool. So really just adjust the bottom braces to fit yours.
Because as you're talking about it, I'm picturing my machine at my house right now, and you can't even see the top of it. It's just loaded with tools.
Is that right?
Do you want me to grab another piece of sheet metal? We'll make two of these at once.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. We'll make yours out of titanium, dude.
Oh.
No.
Then we'd have to TIG weld it.
The titanium's too small, I'm sorry. We could have.
We got already marked. All right, so I'd say trim that off, and then we'll make our marks for our corner cuts. Next step, I'm just going to mark off where we're going to cut our notches. So I'm going to make them 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches for one side, and 1.5 inches by 2 3/4. So this is the side that's going to get kind of a double bend.
This is the side that's going to get all the tools that we have scattered about the shop that can now be with the welder going to the car. Yeah. Yeah. We have an entire cart that we roll around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be using that cart anymore. I think we're just going to roll the 220 around.
Multi-purpose 220.
Yeah.
It's a multi-purpose welder, a multi-purpose cart. What do you want to cut this out with?
I really like the vertical bandsaw. It's like one of my favorite tools. Because we can use tin snips, but it'll kind of bend it.
Yeah. It'll distort it. We don't want that.
We don't want that.
Yeah. That's kind of what I did on the project when I did it for myself. And then I just used a dead blow hammer to kind of beat it back into shape.
What about the precision here at Finnegan's Garage? So
I noticed that.
yeah, vertical bandsaw with no guard.
Quick cut.
Fix it later. Files. Nobody will know. It's going to get welded anyway, right?
That's correct. And this isn't a precision job anyway.
I'll gap the Grand Canyon with a MIG welder if I have to. All right, so I can cut this?
Yes, sir. If it's going to fit, you might have to flip it over and mark the other side too. I don't know. Will it fit?
Yeah, this is the downside of putting this where we put it, but our dream is to someday have this on casters so it rolls out, but I think we might be all right. Beautiful.
Okay, so now usually what I'll do here is decide how many air tools I want on here. I usually carry 3.
Let me get them.
4.
Have you seen this yet?
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, that's a chamfering tool.
Yeah. $60 on Amazon. Works really good.
All right, so now what I do is I try to determine the spacing for whatever air tools I'm gonna be hanging on mine. I only have 3 on mine, but you're gonna put 4. And what I will do on mine is I like to put the angle grinders towards the back because they can kind of hang over the back of the shelf and they're not going to interfere with anything. So I would, but then usually it's about 5.5 inches between them. If these, again, we'll be able to put them next to each other so we can kind of just make that determination.
I feel like the key with putting these in is putting them in such a way that they're actually easy to get to and not flopping around. Otherwise, you end up not wanting to use the thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
I've built ones where it looked cool, and then I went and put all the tools in there. And after the fact, I'm like, God, I should have spread those out further.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. But for me, I'm always grabbing stuff with gloves on it, and if I pull it off and it just grabs the tool next to it, and
Yeah,
then it's on the floor where I didn't want it anyway.
exactly.
Now, most of these are standard, but I like to measure them anyway. You got a
Calipers?
Yep, caliper, so I can measure that. 0.9. Okay, so yeah, 5/16, that's 0.312, right? 5/16, that'll work. Beauty. And if you really like this project, you can go to millerwelds.com/projects and you can actually download the PDF instructions for this and watch the video. Right?
Perfect.
How many Sharpie markers?
Oh, all of them?
Yeah,
All of them.
Yeah.
we buy Walmart out.
I use 3 of them usually, but I use different colors.
Oh, you mean
black, red,
I mean,
blue.
like ones we use. I thought
Yeah,
we
like-
had any in stock. Yeah.
No.
I think, man, like, how many do we lose?
How many you want? How many you want? How many you want on your tray?
3.
3?
Gray, black, and then a skinny black.
Okay.
I like that you think that we're not going to lose those. I like it. There we go.
So we'll do 3.
And these are tapered, correct? So if you drill the precise hole, these will just sit in.
So what I do is I drill a 27/64 hole because they're different diameters between the skinny ones and the fat ones. Obviously, that's why they're skinny and fat. But a 27/64 hole will hold these facing up, and it'll hold these slid in, and it'll actually catch it about 3/4 of the way down.
All right.
So 27/64.
27/64.
This one we may not even worry about because you had to store these like this. So unless you can, well, this is tapered too.
It is, but it'll still. I mean, these all still fit in upside down. This body is the same size as that body. 27/64. And one more hole for the welper. We need to determine what size hole that is. Where's your welper head? It's on what, the welper?
Oh, that.
This is the
Welder
welper.
pliers.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
What do we call it? Welper?
Welper.
Welper.
See, we didn't go to welding school.
Nice to know.
Okay. So, what do you think?
That looks like 1 inch.
About
Dave's
a
other
half inch?
superpower.
Is it?
Dave has 2 superpowers. The first superpower is setting cars on fire he didn't actually work on via the electrical system. That's why we call him 12-volt Dave.
Yeah.
I see.
The other superpower is he's a human tape measure.
Oh, yeah.
He can look at anything and go, that's what that is.
Laser. Okay.
Where are you measuring to? Right here?
I'm just going, yeah. Just trying to.
We'll say 11/16.
11/16. I'm going
under?
5/8.
Yeah,
It's
a little under?
yeah, you're just a tick under. I'm gonna go 5/8.
Right? Mind blown.
It's pretty close. If
Dude.
you're plus or minus 16th.
Yeah.
Plenty good enough for Finnegan's garage.
I was going
right.
to say 7, but there. That's why he's here.
That's the cool thing about these is this is totally flexible. You can put your tools anywhere you want.
Now we're going to stop losing these pliers. We only have the 1 pair, and I'm always losing them.
We can't be losing the Welpers.
Yeah.
No, now that you know what to call it. Where's that thing?
I've never heard that word before.
I like it. Welper. Like saying
the
it.
welper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
You seen the welper?
You seen the
Go over there
welper?
and whelp that.
Whoop that thing off.
Where's the welper?
I was doing a little whelping last night.
I gotta hammer this in.
Got crazy. Got crazy. Might have whelped it too many times.
Oh, jeez.
Had to stop. Had to back up off of it.
We're still talking welding, right?
I don't know.
I'm talking about the whelpers.
Oh. So next what I'm going to do, or you're going to do, or somebody's going to do, is we're going to bend this long bend first, and then we'll come back and flip it over, and then we'll bend this one. Because with the brake you've got, we're going to have to bend this deep bend first before we bend this other 90 degree. Otherwise you'll never get it into the, right? Then we'll bend the other long one, and then we'll close in the pan. And what I did too is mine is, after I made this second bend on this side, I actually came back here and put a little lip on this one just to kind of keep the tools from sliding. Yeah, when you're dragging the welder around, if your floor isn't super nice and level, like yours is actually pretty decent. Yeah, but if you're rolling it over something that's not, and you got cracks or expansion joints in your concrete and you hit those things and the tools fall off, that's kind of a bummer.
That was a good save. I thought we were gonna have to fight for a second. I thought he was gonna say our floor sucked. Like I know.
Oh no.
I know some of our tools do.
No.
Draw the line. It's floor, man.
I've worked in barns, so this is good.
We didn't make the floor, so the floor's probably pretty good.
Yeah. Full 90. Is his eyes calibrated for degrees as well?
Pretty well.
Really?
I usually go too far.
Yeah.
And then I have to bend it back.
Which is okay.
Pretty darn good.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Now
you're gonna have to take your extension off so you can get in there tighter.
So this is something we've never done. So
Really? Okay.
So I'm sitting, when you were laying this out, I was like, how you gonna do it a Z like so?
Yep. So this piece will come off, and that way you can do a flush blind bend on this side. On yours is nice because I love the way these Miller Brothers. It's actually will give you you could do literally, depending upon the bend radius, you could do a double bend or an offset bend on this, literally like a 16th or an 1/8 inch apart, because yours is flush. Now
Thank God you
mine's a
came
little
here.
bigger.
We didn't even know how to use the tool. I'll get the tool. We'll take the tool apart.
You don't know how much stuff that I've tried to bend tight like that and just screwed it up and just went a different route because, man.
I feel like we read the instructions too that came with
I've
us.
never even seen the instructions.
So here's a little update for you guys. We are, I'd say, midway through the build of our cart top and run into a problem. We need to make a reverse bend on this, kind of a Z-looking thing here, so that the tools will stand up and not fall out. But the problem with that is my Miller Brothers finger brake has an optional set of what's called apron fingers. They go down here that allow you to bend this up and bend the metal in a tight space. I don't have those. And Andy's gonna show you kind of why this won't work with the fingers that we have down there. And then we're gonna show you how we're gonna get past that here.
Yeah, so basically the angle bending bar that's come standard with it, it has such a long, bed here. So we need a much shorter one and able to get this tight enough in to the bending fingers to actually make that reverse bend. So on all the brakes that I've got, once you take this off, that piece is already on there standard. So this one is,
and nor do we have the optional fingers. Like there's fingers that will bolt on here that come up flush so that you can bend the metal exactly the way we need to. We don't have that. So we've removed the one that was on there that sticks out way too far. And we're gonna take some scrap metal we have laying around, cut it up, drill some holes in it, bolt it on there, and make our own apron fingers. Okay, so here's our problem. This is the bed. We removed a portion of it. This comes in several lengths. This one's 24 inches. The table we're trying to make for the top of our cart is 27 inches long, so this is close enough. And we could have cut this up and modified it, but then we've kind of ruined this part. We can't get the part we need from Miller Brothers today, obviously, but what we can do is take this scrap piece of metal here, lay this on top of it, scribe it, and then punch the holes in it, and then this will bolt onto our finger brake and give us exactly what we need to do the job. I think the key here is obviously you guys know how to transfer something. You know how to take a Sharpie and mark where you need to cut, but maybe you've never seen these. These are called transfer punches, and they come in a lot of different sizes. They basically mimic drill bits with a point on the end. And so all you do is whatever hole you have, you just find the right size one, set it in there, and it will accurately find the center of the hole. And you can just sit here and mark them. Now when you remove this, you know exactly where you need to drill the holes in there. So we're gonna trim that, we're gonna drill 3 holes, we're gonna bolt this onto the finger brake, and then we are gonna finish our new part. There you go, look at the smoke. Ready? Bye-bye, smoke. It's working! It is totally working. Make some smoke. Dude, that's awesome. Every bit of fume went in there.
Easy there, Big Daddy.
Ah,
I'm excited to use that now.
dude. It just got more versatile. Why don't you hit the brake on that one? There we go.
Let's just try it out.
Do you want to try it on something first, or you want to just like go for gold?
Oh, it's gonna work.
Ready?
We worked way too hard on it for it to not work.
All right, here we go. Ready?
What do you think? Good?
Pretty good, yeah.
It's pretty even too.
Pretty close, I think.
All right. Do it.
Do it?
All right.
All right, calibrate. Oh, look at that.
Stay.
Yeah.
Looks pretty dang good.
Yep, pretty good. Okay. Pretty close.
Oh, yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll just spot tack these corners. I mean, it's not gonna go anywhere now, but
Right.
I just like spot tack them anyway. And now it's gonna be time to make the bottom braces.
All right.
So basically we're gonna figure out, these are gonna be those inside braces that go inside the handles. And this is gonna be the other one that gets welded here that slides underneath.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
So I'm just going to determine where those get placed and we'll be good to go.
Do we need to use the tubing bender for this at all?
I was thinking if we could just have him work on the mill a little bit in here.
Yeah, what can we do?
The longer you're on it, and the 030 wire takes a little bit more power just even to get it started. And I'll give you just like a general rule of thumb, again, is you don't usually want to weld your base metal that's thinner than the filler metal you're using. So if your filler metal's 030 and you're trying to weld 22 gauge body panels or 20 gauge body panels, you know, you're to the point there where your body panel is thinner than your filler metal. So what a MIG machine does is when the wire is cold at the starts, it's not as bad when the wire is hot. Like if you're doing tacking, your first tacks are the worst because the wire is cold. But once the wire gets hot, it starts melting easier, right? So your first couple tacks with the wire cold, the machine has to jump up to much higher amperage to get the wire to start burning.
Blows holes in the metal.
Exactly. So the 023 wire is going to be better at your arc starts on those lower, gauge materials.
So do you want to hold off on turning this on because it'll want to pull the argon away, or?
No, actually, that's a great question. I turn it on all the time, but what's cool about this is the variable speed. That suction piece is it's adjustable. So you want to get it so that you're pulling the smoke away and the fumes, but not so strong that you're actually sucking your shielding gas away.
Okay.
So, which is even more critical with TIG than it is with MIG. And also because I'm going to be even welding in, some of these areas here. So I would move this over even closer to where I'm actually kind of working, and let it draw off of that. But these are going to be quicker tacks. When I plug weld, I sometimes turn the machine down 1 gauge lower than what I'm actually welding. So this is 18 gauge. So sometimes I'll actually turn it down to 20 gauge because when you're plug welding, you're spending a lot more time on that same spot. So the chances of dimpling the other side or even burning through are a little bit higher. But because I'm actually just going to be doing just a couple little fillet tacks, and this is a lap joint, I set it at 18 gauge. So
normally when I'm welding like brackets or tabs or anything, I'm always just turning it hot. You know, and I've met several people that's done the same thing, but I always just burn stuff just hot.
Yeah.
But
and a hot tack is fine, you know, especially if you're, you know, it literally is just a hot tack that's going to prep it for welding later on. But setting it hot, tacking, and then welding it, by the time you get part of the way down the piece, then you might find you're already too hot. So hot tacking is okay, but in this case, you know, because the material is its gauge thickness, it's not. Yeah, it'd be fine.
Let's turn this thing on.
All right. Yep, I'd turn it up. Yeah, it'll be plenty good for MIG. So. Okay, rule number 1. Put the ground clamp on whatever you're welding.
I'm not the only one.
Nope. And you won't be the only one ever. I guarantee that. I hate when I do that. Watch your eyes.
What's your preferred method? Like, what's your rotation as far as running a bead? You usually do like a cursive E or a C or a...
Oh yeah, like I feel, yeah. So these were just spot tacks. All I did was rock the gun and make sure I hit both end pieces. But it really depends on, you know, even direction of weld, pushing versus dragging.
Yeah.
You know, that's even different. So on most thin gauge material, I push because the weld wire is always hitting the colder part of the base metal. If you drag the gun, the wire is pointing back at the piece of metal that you already heated and welded. So again, the opportunity to burn through is higher on thinner gauge material when you're dragging the gun versus pushing the gun. Okay. So again, it's different techniques for both, but if I'm pushing, I'll usually just kind of do kind of like that stitch pattern. I'm just rolling it up and coming back down, rolling it up. And if it's semi-thin also, sometimes I'll step forward and pull back, step forward and pull back. What that kind of does is it puts a little bit of a weld down first, and then as I go back to kind of wash it onto both pieces, it does that. It allows me to do that without burning through too, because it just put down a little bit of weld underneath it first. So there's not one way that's absolutely right. And some do the E's, some do just rock it up and down. You know, so I would say really the big thing is push and pull. That's going to determine, you know, and on thicker stuff, I love to drag because it does give you.
That's what I always do.
Yeah, on your thicker materials. Yeah. Watch your eyes.
No, I'm not looking. I can hear the sizzle. I know it's good. Oh, bacon, baby, bacon.
Oh, yeah.
Look, smooth starting machine.
Let's get in there.
I want to see it. I can't look. Just tell me, describe it. Tell me about the smoke going in.
Goes up, it makes a nice turn, and goes right in the vacuum.
That sounds. I can see it in my face, in my brain. That sounds amazing.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like a daytime dream.
Oh, now we get the test fit.
Yeah, kind of.
Finished product.
I'm pretty sure it's done.
It's almost done.
Hurry up, I just want to start throwing stuff in it.
No, not yet. There's still one more modification, but we will check and make sure the fit is proper. Yeah,
I like it.
You could perfectly steady.
It seems legit. I mean, now you have to. Gotta start. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen. That's what we made it for. Is it hot? No, it's not. We're good. Oh, we put the air tools in.
I don't think he's done yet.
He's not? What's he got left to do?
I'm not too sure.
Are you sure?
Yeah, like there's something else he wants to do. And
What's he gonna do? I feel like this is.
So I got one more thing. Two, actually.
Oh, you were right. He was too.
Yeah.
put the air tools in the wrong spot.
Oh, yeah. That's Miller blue paint.
You gonna paint it?
Well, I'm not gonna paint it. Somebody's gonna paint it, but it's gotta match the unit, right?
Oh, I don't think we've ever painted anything in here.
No, it's
Well, you can paint it outside.
We'll have to move all the cars.
And one other option. This is what I did on mine. So you know when you gotta get inside the cover, you know, to change wire or whatever?
Oh, yeah, we've inhibited that.
No,
Just a little bit.
not yet.
Is there
This
just
will
some
make it a hands-free system.
Oh, yeah. What smoke? What is it?
Am I not in the right spot? Come on, don't tell me I pulled a Finnegan.
Wait, what's in my name? That's messed
Well, that
up.
was my mark. I know what I did wrong. I marked the center.
I see your mark on the latch.
It is too.
Yeah.
This was going so well.
This whole day, I feel like it's been educational, informative, very efficient, lots of productivity happening over here.
Yep.
And we could just pretend that works.
Yeah. Cut.
Just no, that really happened. But we'll just hold the door up, you know. I feel like that would spoil us if that functioned, you know, where you just hold the door open, slide it over, and just read. I feel like we'd be spoiled.
It not working is the norm for us. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that we would get lazy if that was it. We would get lazy.
Oh no, I'm gonna beat that thing off of there. Damn.
That was a pretty good weld. I don't know if you're gonna go just beat that off there.
Well, there you go. Paint it blue. Call it good.
Nice work, sir. I appreciate you. I learned a lot.
Okay. Awesome.
Dude, this is great. Best of all, you guys can do this at your house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for more projects like these, you can go to millerwelds.com/projects. And you can even download the instructions, which we probably should have did first before we started this project, and even watch the video.
And if you want to see more stuff like this, head over to the Real Garage YouTube channel. And if nothing else, we'll see you next time on Finnegan's Garage. Thanks for watching.
And thank you for adjusting our tools.
I love playing with tools.
You want to play with any of the other tools that are around here? Make them work right?
Sure.
That'd be
Let's
great.
start with the El Camino.
I have to talk to my wife about that.